Welcome to the Secret Keepers podcast with your host, Kareen Zutleger. Join us as we uncover the hidden thoughts, stories, and moments that help bring light to the healing power of truth and examine how silence can affect us mentally, physically, and spiritually. We'll also share profound stories, interviews, and transformative narratives to help release ourselves from the hidden and step into healing towards inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. Now, here's your healing strategist and host, Kareen.
Welcome to the Secret Keepers podcast. And today, my guest is Barry Shimelfarb, and I'm going to have Barry tell you a little bit about himself.
So, Karine, I'm so happy to be here. First of all, thank you for having me on this show. I'm excited to talk with you. I've talked with you a little bit in the past, and you're just like energy, and we just have this chemistry going back and forth. So I love it. But about me, um, well, number one, I am a father to two of the most incredible twin boys on this planet. They were born
I
in
love that.
India. I've been raising them on my own since the day they were born, and then we'll get into this. But when they were 6 years old and just turning seven, I was diagnosed with advanced cancer. I went from advanced cancer to cured in 2 years. My oncologist said it was miraculous, and I can tell you what I did. Um, Through
Great.
that journey, I took our vacation home and turned it into a sanctuary to help other people heal. And that's been part of my healing journey. So that's kind of some of my headlines, and we can
Yeah.
dig in further as we talk.
Wow. Okay, so I have so many questions. Because what we talk about here in the Secret Keepers are obviously secrets that we keep and we hold within our body and how they affected us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Um, But first of all, you had an advanced type of cancer. What kind of cancer was it?
So I don't go into the specifics of the cancer itself, but
Yeah.
I'll let you know that I had multiple surgeries, 56 lymph nodes were removed.
Okay.
Yeah, I went through full battery of radiation. I lost
Yeah.
50 pounds. I couldn't swallow. I weighed 130 some odd pounds and I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And um, It, I mean, when I got my diagnosis, I remember, should I talk about that yet or get into that later? But I mean, when I basically I had some swollen glands, my doctor said go to um, an oncology specialist. She walked into the room. She said, "So how's it going? How's your cold? How's your, swollen gland?" And she felt me and she said, "Oh, if this is what I think it is, this is really serious.
Oh,
You're not going to be able to get out of bed for the next 6 to 9 months. You're going to be on feeding tubes." And I said, "Now, wait a minute. I have two little guys that I'm raising on my own." And she
yeah.
said, "Find somebody to raise them."
Yeah.
And I
That's
looked at her face and she wasn't kidding. And she started taking biopsies from my body right in the chair, right there, harpooning me, pulling tissue out, looking at it under a microscope, and doing that. And she was just getting more and more serious. And then when she was done, she took my hand and she walked me over to the CT scanning department at the hospital. She went up to the desk and she says, "Put him first in line."
wow.
And I was just, your head's spinning, right? Who's
Yeah.
going to raise my kids? I don't have family for 2,000 miles. They're so little. I want to watch them grow up. And she turned to me and she says, "Put your friends and family network together." And I said, "Don't you think we should wait for the CT scans to come back?"
Yeah.
And she said, "No, put it together now. I want you to go home and put it together now." So that puts your head in a different space.
Yeah. I imagine it was really scary. And
Yeah.
obviously we can see that it was a win here for you. So we don't need to go too much into the weeds.
Yeah.
'Cause here you are and you're alive and very well, looking very healthy.
Thank you.
But still a very scary period of time for you.
Yeah.
And so you found yourself spending a lot of time at your vacation home.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah. So, I mean, they say that having a pet or a dog and having to take it out for walks kind of saves your life, right? So this home did that for me.
oh, wow.
I, right? I went and I gardened. I mean, when that oncologist was saying you won't be able to get out of bed, I was like, F that. I'm getting out of bed every single day. In fact, no, I'm going to run up and down my stairs and do a cardio workout every day. That wasn't great for me keeping the weight on, but I was like, I'm going to stay healthy, right? So, going to that home and planting things in the gardens, I mean, there's like these aeoniums all around. I've planted hundreds of them. They just, you can't kill them. I've planted, a dozen Japanese maples and smoke bushes. I just want to bring fall color. So when you're putting your hands in the soil with all the fungi and the mushrooms that are growing around there, you're doing something healing to your body. And for me, it was happening and I didn't know why, I didn't know it. And so then I think I mentioned I went from advanced cancer to cured in 2 years. And that's one of the things that I did. I was putting my hands in the soil and then I said, listen, I'm not going to be working for the next, let's say, year as I go through this. I need to
Yeah.
raise my kids and I need money. So I opened it up. I brought other people to Carmel to heal. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was just like, I got to survive, got to pay
Mhm.
my medical bills. And then I don't know how because they don't advertise, but they started finding me. And it was people with cancer, people who had my own type of rare cancer. Two of them came within 1 year. Guy who had gone through quadruple bypass surgery came. I mean, all these people just started coming, and I started getting these stories that changed me. Can I
Yeah.
share one or two?
Yeah, absolutely. I love because
Yeah.
I love this that I just want to talk a little bit and then you can share more, but I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how you were referencing the therapeutic healing components of putting your hands in the earth, in tending to something else other
Yeah.
than yourself and nurturing it and loving it and just the electromagnetic goodness of Mother Earth, right? Putting your
Right.
hands in there and connecting and like you said, the fungi and the trees, right? The root systems are all in there, and all of those things are here, and they're saying you're probably picking up on, if your hands are in it, they feel it,
Yeah.
right? In it. So
Yeah.
I can completely understand that from the frequencies and the vibrations that, you know, you're you're being healed by tending to and taking care of Mother Earth. And I think that's so beautiful.
So I love that too. And I'm right there with you. I've always been a very spiritual person, and then going through what I did really deepened that spirituality. But I mean, there can be biological reasons for my healing. There can be, other scientific explanations, but for me and my mindset, it all comes from the light anyway. It's all just working through as a channel, those
Oh,
different
I just got chills.
venues to get to you, right? Yeah, I can feel those chills. I just
Good.
felt those chills too through the Zoom.
Yeah.
So that grounding, I mean, I'm one of these guys, like I drive a car, but I don't need to know how to build an engine and be a mechanic, right? And drive
Yeah.
that car. So I was on this mission going through healing. It's like, I'm going to try everything. I don't know what'll work or why it works necessarily, but I'm going to do it. So when I'm being told, ground yourself, take your shoes off, walk in the sand, walk in the ocean, I did that. And I did that every day or every time I went to Carmel, right? And it's cold Alaskan water in the wintertime. And I'm
Okay.
rolling my pants up and walking with my feet turning blue in the water. I'm like, I'm gonna heal. So there is something so grounding to all of that. And then I found too how this cottage healed me was that I started diving into the history of this cottage. And there's something very spiritual about the history of this cottage and where it's located that nobody else knows about in Carmel. That I just discovered this because I had the good fortune of a historian stay as one of my guests. She'd
That is
written,
so
she
cool.
wrote the history of Annapolis, Maryland. She came to my cottage and she said, there's something going on here at this cottage on this property. What is it? I told her about Eliza who built the cottage 100 years ago. She looked into Eliza, she started researching Eliza, and she stopped writing the book that she was working on, and she started writing a book about Eliza who built my cottage.
That is really cool. Okay.
Unfortunately, she passed away during COVID, along with the story of the cottage, and all I have are like little snippets that she shared with me before she passed. So it's
But that's
I call
really
the cottage Cuddle Doon the Lost Cottage of Carmel because it has a lost story. It's a hidden cottage. It's private. It's this little sanctuary. Nobody knows the story except for me and a few people. So it's Cuddle Doon the Lost Cottage of Carmel, and it helps me heal.
that's really neat. It's a real I would love to hear more about the story, so I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
go click
podcast,
on
TBD.
Yeah, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, and so you're at this cottage and you're spending the time there and you're putting your hands in the earth and you're kind of restoring it in a and adding to it is what you were saying, right? You wanted to increase the beauty and create a sanctuary where others could come as well. And then from there, what happened? Because you said people started telling you stories and sharing,
Yeah,
their
about
healing.
their healing. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell
And
me,
relate. So, well, number one, the cottage is, if you think about like those little gingerbread cookie houses in Carmel, that's the architect of those was Hugh Comstock. He created that style. He wasn't even an architect. He created that style as a dollhouse for his wife. Those are considered the quintessential Carmel fairy tale houses. Mine is not one of those. Mine
okay,
doesn't look like a dollhouse, but mine predates that, I found out. My house was built in 1923. Those houses start getting built in 1925. So this is one of the historic cottages. It just gives me chills thinking about this again, too. So I kept the house authentic. My neighbor thought it was a teardown and it had shag rugs and vomit stains and stain walls and stuff like that. I left it original. It has the original wavy pane windows. I pulled up the carpets. It had the original pine plank floor. And on a joist I recently discovered under the living room has Eliza Yoakum's name branded into the joist so that
cool.
when her workers went to pick up that wood at the lumber yard, it was identified with her name on it, and her name is branded into the joist under the house. I discovered it when I was changing the furnace filter, and I took pictures of it. I have it; it's there to this day. And so there's something. It just feels so spiritually nurturing at this house, and I'm kind of going off on lots of different tangents and
Yeah,
flip-flops,
yeah,
but I get so
yeah.
excited by the history of it. So the history I discovered of the house is called Cuddle Doon. And I found the original sign that says Cuddle Doon to hang on the house. And what does Cuddle Doon mean? It's
Yeah.
Scottish for cuddle down, settle down, and get
Oh,
comfortable and get cozy, it means.
okay.
That's how you feel when you step through the door of this cottage. And Eliza was, I believe, one of the country's first feminists that nobody knows about, but she rode on horseback through Kentucky, the Midwest, settled in Iowa, and ultimately came to California to be an English school teacher. And she hung out with the artists and poets and writers in the heyday of Carmel's art scene. I think my cottage could have been one of those salon grounds where Robinson Jeffers stayed, Jack Kerouac, Ansel Adams. Right. So she was kind of one of those artists and writers back 100 years ago. And she loved a Scottish poet named Alexander Anderson. She traveled to Scotland to visit his homeland. She came home, built that cottage, and called it Cuddle Doon after his famous poem called Cuddle Doon.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about um the way you designed the rooms and like is it like do multiple people stay at the same time or is it like one person rents the cottage? How
Yeah.
does that work?
Well, so first of all, I mean, um, I'm not a resort, right?
Okay.
So I don't have a hot tub and a swimming
Yeah.
pool on site and things like that. I do partner with people. I mean, there is the Refuge Spa 5 minutes away in Carmel Valley that has the most incredible mineral baths and healing baths with a view of the Santa Lucia mountain range. I can't compete with that, and my guests will go there for a
Yeah.
trip. So the home it's this historic home which I left in the original footprint. I didn't expand it to do anything, but I fixed it up.
Okay.
Um, and I created this place that just feels cuddled in. It feels nurturing and like you're taken care of because I believe healing is not just about medicine. I believe it's about community and place and feeling loved and taken care of. So when
Mm.
somebody steps through that door, and I'll give you a couple examples if I don't ramble on too much, they feel taken care of and they tell me that.
Oh,
And okay, so I will, so what did I do to fix it? I mean, number one, I just paint 5 coats of paint over the original wood so the oil wouldn't soak through. I mean, it's just white and bright and it's just flooded with sunlight and just gets direct morning sunlight for your morning coffee out on the back deck with the towering pines and oak trees and Monterey cypress all around you. Um, so it's just it feels like a nurturing place. And I had a guest come recently. She is and her spouse are well, they're well-known Nashville singer-songwriters that you would know them, but I can't
okay.
actually. I keep
Yeah,
private all of my guests,
yeah.
and she was coming for some of her spiritual healing on her own. And when she was done, she left me a copy of Anne Morrow Lindbergh's book called, I don't know if you can see this with like uh,
Go back
there,
just a little. There you go, right there. Okay, The Gift from the Sea.
Gift from the Sea, which I think I'd heard of but hadn't read it. So she says, Barry, I want to give you this gift. She says, I read it and I reread it, and it's just about finding quiet and peace by the ocean, and it
Mm,
really fits your cottage.
yeah.
I loved that gift, and I read it, and then I was like, I need to leave this for my guests. So I
Oh,
took that copy, I put it out on the little side table next to the sofa, and Corrine, my very next guest, she had a very difficult last 6 months of loss and illness and things like that.
mhm.
She walked through the front door and saw that book, and she texted me right away, and she says, "Oh my gosh, Barry, this is meant to be. This is one of my favorite books, and I haven't read it in 20 years. I'm
Oh,
crying, and
oh,
I love this book. I thank you for putting this out." And what did that say to me? I said, number one, I'm going to text my guest in Nashville who left me that book and let her know how she just moved somebody else. And then number two is I bought a stack of those books
oh,
and I put a note inside of them. Now I said, hey, feel free to read this book. If you want to keep it, take it home. It's my gift
yeah.
from X, Y, and Z through me to you. Take it home. I have lots of them. It's my gift to you.
That's
So,
so
and
good.
then I realized gift from the sea. If you look at the acronym, GFTS, gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this home is about virtuous circles of giving. I love it when I see a gift that's given to me and then they can share it with others. And that's really what this home is. It was my, it's a, I was fortunate to be pretty well off at the time I was working in high tech to be able to afford this beautiful home.
Hmm.
I can't take it with me. It's a gift to me. I didn't build that house. Eliza's workers built it. I'm the steward of that. I need to share it with others. And through sharing it with others, they're finding healing. And by me sharing it, I'm also healing myself.
So, okay. So, would you say, is it safe to say, anyways, that the secret that you kept for a long time was the gifts that you had?
I would. I think, if we talk about keeping secrets inside, I'm one of those. All of your listeners probably are, if that's kind of what resonates with your
Yeah.
podcast and your audience, right? We keep secrets inside of us that can cause disease, repression, not allowing us to heal when we know our bodies have everything we need inside to heal. But I believe that the secrets we keep just as often are the gifts that we have inside of us, right? We are all gifted. We're all gifted. We all have gifts from the creator, from the light, from the universe, wherever your source is,
Yeah.
we receive these gifts, right? And yet we tend to keep them inside. We have this enormous potential inside of us. We're busy raising our kids. We're distracted by work. We don't like our boss. We're just trying to get by. Money's tight, right? We're just overwhelmed and flooded by that. And you take all those thoughts and you plant a seed of gratitude inside
Mm,
of you. You say, you express how thankful you are. Like I might have cancer cells inside of me that I don't know whether I'm going to live or die. But at the time I was going through it, I said, that's 1% of my body, but I'm grateful because I have 99% of my body can run up and down the stairs and feel good. I could barely get out of bed. But I was like, but I'm so grateful 99% of my body's still working. I can still talk to people. I can still hang out with my friends. I can do all these things. And that will suffocate any thoughts that you have of lack of gratitude. I'm not one of these people that if you start blaming things around you, if you start playing victim card, now I know this isn't going to hit everybody the right way. I'm kind of blunt about it. But if we're talking about something outside of ourselves that we're pointing to and saying, hey, the problem's out there, you're living in the past, you're living in problem land, and you're not creating your future. And so I believe the secrets that we keep are these gifts inside of ourselves that we're keeping weighed down by us living in the past or blaming or victimhood or anything else. Let that out, express that gratitude, and shine with your gift. That's what I believe.
Yeah, we let fear. So part of what with neuroencoding is we talk about stopping, right? Using techniques to stop the fear, right? Because everything comes in as
Right.
it's a thought. First, it's a vibration. The vibration, it precedes anything, and then the thought is there, and that creates the feeling. The feeling creates, what we do or don't do, and
Yeah.
then ultimately what we have or don't have.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that we dim our light, right? We dim our light because we're afraid to step into that fullness of the gifts that we were given. And it's like, how sad is that so many of us walk around and allow the outside world to really penetrate us so much that we don't bring to light the beautiful essence of ourselves and let everybody see it.
Right.
And I know, like before we started the podcast, you and I had a beautiful conversation about mammals. I mean, dolphins and whales in particular. And
Yeah. That's
I love animals, and one of my gifts is I know that they understand me, right? That I'm putting out a frequency that they understand when I am still enough that they can pick up on it. And but up until now, I wasn't open with everybody about, so this is the first time in my life I'm sharing it out publicly. My family knows it, but that's a belief I have, is that I can communicate that way. And thanks to you, I am not afraid to say it out loud.
yeah. Right? Because you're sharing that gift. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you something because I'm watching you live on the Zoom where I can see you. And as you talk about this gift and sharing that gift, your whole body is lighting up. You look radiant, right? So all of that. Now compare that to saying, somebody did something wrong to me today. I can't believe what my boss said to me. It's all like negatives, creating inflammation in our bodies. Now, hey,
Mhm.
we need to work, we need to process things. So I'm just saying, don't deny
Yep.
all those things. We
Right.
need to process it. But we
Absolutely.
don't want to hang out in that place of pity and self-loathing and everything else. Start sharing your gifts. Let those gifts out. That's the secrets that we're keeping inside of us. That's going to get us on the path really fast. And kind of tracking back to your idea of the fear and dimming our light, things like that. So many thoughts are popping. But I think of it this way, like the light is abundant. It's out there no matter what. The sun
Yeah.
is shining no matter what. It's going to be shining tomorrow and the day after and so, right? But we can create blocks where we're not acting from gratitude, not acting from joy. That closes or blocks us from that light. So we're actually blocking it, right? But the light is out there. It's like we're not dimming it. We're just not allowing ourselves to receive that light. And when we receive that light, then we can share more and more of it, right?
Mm.
So that's our light, the piece that we get to reflect after receiving all that. So if you're not letting it in to begin with, what's going on here? So what's blocking it?
Right.
Fear,
Mhm.
like you said, limiting beliefs, number two.
Sure.
Third
Yeah.
one is, hey, we're just not willing to put in the time. I'm lazy. I get that way sometimes too, right? But our body if we get out of its way, it's going to do all those things. It's going to be great. It's going to share our gifts with other people. And there are three things that are going to stand in the way: fear, limiting beliefs, and just malaise. I don't feel like doing it. Right? Let's
Yeah,
get out of our own way.
and to kind of go back even to you like putting your hands in the ground and really tending to when we allow the when we allow spirit, right, to lead us into those places, right? Uh, I kept getting the image as you're talking about the light of, it could be a cloudy day, but the sun is still shining above those clouds, just like you see it when you're in an airplane.
Exactly right.
And but yet we could allow that cloud to make it a crummy day. That could be the reason why we're having a crummy day is because it's not sunny, but it is sunny, right? So it's perspective, right? It's like,
But I love your analogy of the airplane too. It's like go higher,
yeah, right.
go above the clouds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's where the sun is. If seek it out. I will
Yeah.
share one story I meant to earlier, but this one's kind of powerful because this property, this cottage and Carmel in general is a healing place, but it's also can be a life-giving place, right? And so what's more healing than creating life? So
Mm,
I had a young couple who had just lost their child. They miscarried during pregnancy and they were grieving and they came to the cottage. And this is one of the stories that was transformative to me, that made me really realize, okay, we need to bring more people here. So they were processing that. They came to the cottage, and I set them up with somebody who was a spiritual healer on a hike through the redwood forests of Big Sur by the ocean. I mean, just hearing me say that, right? That just
yeah,
said healing. Now, they weren't necessarily spiritual people, but they were open to this, right? You're going through pain, you want to say,
yeah.
hey, show me something that will work. So I set them up on this spiritual hike through the redwood forests, which are, I mean,
Sounds
Carmel's
beautiful.
basically in Big Sur, right? It's the northern tip of Big Sur. So they went on this. Anyway, after their first day of being there, they texted me and they said, Barry, this is the first night that we slept fully through the night since we lost our child.
Mm,
And think about that for a second, right? So they
yeah.
haven't been able to sleep through the night. And think about the pain that you're going through when you lose something like that. And it's
Mm,
keeping you up at night because there's trauma
yeah.
in your head and you can't dial that down. And then you're in a place of Cuddle Doon that feels nurturing. You feel taken care of. You feel you're connecting with nature. You're grounding yourself on these hiking trails. You're breathing the negative ions from the ocean air right there that you're looking down on. You're feeling the sun on your face.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
awake to
there. I'm there.
everything. You're in a lost place. You're in a place that is spiritual. I mean, this cottage was built, I believe, on the original Ohlone Indian Trail that nobody knows about in Carmel that goes underneath our street. And so they kept in touch with me, and about 9 months, a year later, they said, we just welcomed our first child
Oh, I love it.
into the world. So let that sink in for a second,
Mm,
right? Here's
beautiful.
a young couple
Hmm.
who wants to start their family, and they found some of that peace to move on.
So beautiful. It
Yeah.
really is. I love what you've taken, right? You've been able to take what could have been, a completely devastating situation, and you've found the gift in it, in the healing components of it, and then you want to share that gift and pay it forward out into the world. And I think that's amazing. One of the things I love to ask people is, what is your gold nugget of wisdom that you've gained along this whole journey, Barry? Like you've seen obviously a lot of things. You've seen people coming through that are, oh, before we get to the golden nugget, there's
Yeah.
one thing I want you to talk about,
Yeah.
um, the postcards for healing.
Okay.
Can you talk to the audience about, you have something called postcards for healing,
Yeah.
to the audience about that.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for that prompt. And then number two, I might be able to pull these two questions together and tie them up into a nice little bow. Maybe
Very good. Very
if I pull that
good.
off. But let's see. So, I mean, Postcards for Healing, it's a program that we just launched. So if you go to our website, can I plug the website?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's called Carmel Retreats with an S, carmelretreats.com. There's a navigation tab at the top that's called Postcards. Click that. And you'll see it'll explain the program, but what it is that I have guests to the property and the cottage who they come for healing and they'll stay for 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks. I have people who stay 6 weeks, right? But let's say they stay for 1 week. In between those bookings, I have my trapped dates where either I enjoy it myself or I let my, artists and writers from the area stay there. But what I've decided now is that I am going to give away those trapped dates. It might be 2 nights or 3 nights in between my bookings, and I'm going to give them away 100% free, right? So you come, you still have to get yourself there, but you
Yeah.
come, you're going to stay in this healing place for free, and that's the Postcards of Healing. But there's another dimension to it that ties it into with the big aha insight and the nugget of wisdom. I shared with you the story about that book, The Gift from the Sea, right? And
Yeah.
how she gifted that to me. It allowed me to gift it to others, and it creates what I call is this virtuous circle of giving.
Yes.
So the way Postcards for Healing is set up is that I want somebody to nominate somebody that they know who needs healing. In other words, so it's not just people coming to the website and saying, "Hey, I want to come to
Yeah.
Carmel," right?
Yes.
It's saying, "Hey, I have this friend who just lost their child. I have this friend who is going through loss or trauma or cancer or illness or something like that. I'm going to nominate them and I'm going to tell Barry on a postcard, and I make them mail a physical postcard to me, to my address, and then I take all those postcards and I pull one out from a lottery." And I say,
That's amazing.
contact that person. So we're just launching it now. I'd say maybe we're a few weeks into it, something like that. It's a great time to sign up because you don't have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of it. And so the nugget there is, if I can tie it with your next question, the nugget of wisdom is these gifts inside of us, right?
Mm,
We already talked about let
yeah.
these gifts out, don't make those the secret. But then what really, really gets me excited is the idea of making gifts within this virtuous circle. So like I want, because I felt that feeling of others coming to this property and healing. That is such an incredible feeling. I want somebody else to nominate their friend so that they can have that same feeling of helping somebody else.
Ah, it's so beautiful. And what a way to give back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just an absolutely beautiful way. So again, now if somebody in the audience wants to find you, can you give them the websites again and any
Yeah.
other way that they can reach you and
Yeah.
connect with you?
Yeah. So website is carmelretreats.com. On Instagram, which I'm growing at this point, is carmel.retreats.
Okay.
Facebook is Carmel Retreats. So those are the three main places where I hang out these days.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, and then physically, you'll find me going back and forth between Silicon Valley. I'm an executive coach for high-tech executives in Silicon Valley, and then I do the healing retreats and so forth in Carmel. So I kind of move back and forth between those two absolutely incredible spaces.
I love it, Barry. And I am so incredibly grateful that we found each other to be able to have you on the Secret Keepers podcast. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm going to express my gratitude to all of your listeners who've
Yeah,
made it 5 minutes in or all the way into this
yeah.
discussion, and I'm just grateful they gave us their time.
Yes. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining the Secret Keepers podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a like and follow so we can invite you back. And if you just want more, visit CorrineZuleger.com. Remember, you're not alone.